Hey guys, my name is Shayla. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, I talk about pregnancy, we talk about motherhood, we do things kind of natural, kind of hippie, kind of granola. If you're into that, please subscribe. If you're not new here, welcome back. I also have an Instagram, Hey Shayla, and a podcast, Hey Shayla. Hey Shayla on all the things. Today, I'm a little bit nervous to make this video. I'm not gonna lie, because first of all, I feel like I can't say the V word, because as soon as you say that word, your stuff gets flagged and it gets buried, and so I'll just try and avoid saying the word, but we are going to talk about vaccines. And I hesitate to make this video because this is not advice. This is not a suggestion. This is not a debate. This is nothing except for just like giving you little bits of information, because I'm just going to share our experience, kind of why we chose it, and some resources that I used to come to our decision. In case you are also questioning it, because I feel like people are either like, I do this schedule exactly as it's supposed to be, and that's what everybody should do, or like, we don't do anything and it's crazy that you don't. But there's this middle ground of like, I don't know about that, and I don't know about that, and maybe we could try this. And so like, that's kind of what we came to, is this delayed schedule, and I'll sort of explain why and our experience with it, and sort of our, like I said, the resources. And here's the other thing, I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you chose and your experience with it. And I don't want anyone to be rude about it. I want this to be a place where you can kind of just share your experience on either side, and I just want to know what you chose. I'm doing a delayed schedule. I really like it so far. I read The Vaccine Friendly Plan, which is a book by Dr. Paul, and it basically goes through like, during pregnancy, here are a few things that you can do to keep yourself healthy, independent of the shots. We're talking about just like general things. In the first few minutes, here are things or some choices that you have, and these are like the pros and cons of the choices. He has children, all of them have been given the shots. Now he has a clinic, I believe in Portland, where he does alternative schedules. I like his background because he's like, I've seen what some of these things, the outcome of some of these diseases are. He kind of just like goes through each of them and says like, here's the risk of the shot. Here's the risk of the disease. The risk of one is way less than the risk of the other, so I would recommend getting it so that you don't get the disease. Or he'll say like, if you're gonna go international, you should get this shot. If you live in a rural area, you should get this shot. If you have history of this in your family, you should or shouldn't get this one. And so he really just like helps you to understand what each one is for, instead of just like, well, this one's on the schedule, so let's do it. I know the name of it, but I don't know even what would happen if my child got this. I think that this decision is so personal. It's so personal because maybe one of you work in the health field and you are going to be exposed to all these things a lot. So it would make more sense for you to be covered. Maybe you all work in the home. So I think you're assessing risk. Everybody making these decisions are making them out of love. I just watched a TED Talk where she's like, the people who are not doing the schedule are not uneducated or not dumb. They are high income. They are educated. The problem is not like whether you're choosing this or that, it's that you're looking at it from an independent perspective instead of like a communal perspective. So that is one thing to consider. So his concern specifically is not so much about giving the shot or not giving the shot. His is about how condensed and consolidated it is, and giving multiple in one appointment, and kind of like the potential risks of that are. So he gives a delayed schedule. We did it even a little bit further. We literally give one at each appointment. So if something does happen, we know which one did it. There's not a guessing game of like, well, we gave you 6 and you had a reaction, so like, I'm not sure which one it is. In his book, he also gives brands that you should look at that have like less of specific ingredients. So I'm literally contacting my pediatrician's office just like, hey, can you send me a list of the brands that you're using? And luckily my pediatrician used all the brands that he recommended, so that was not a problem. I've gone through like 3 or 4 doctors who are just like, so you're missing this one, this one, this one, this one. I'm like, yeah, I know, we're doing a delayed schedule. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah. And like make me feel really weird about it. But now my doctor is like, cool, if that's what you want to do, great, that's fine. And because of that, I really trust her and like her. So then like when we ended up going into daycare, I was like, okay, so you see what we have done, knowing like what you know about the climate right now and like illnesses going around, are there any that you would recommend us getting? And she recommended one, and we got that, and so like, that's what we did. The other struggles that I've seen are daycare. Daycare is like, you need to have all of these done. And in Minnesota, it's not a law to get these things. Like, a lot of people think that they don't have a choice, but you do have a choice. And so the daycares will tell you that you have to have the schedule. And we've gone to 2 different daycares, and we just have to have a doctor's note saying that we are getting them. We're just on a delayed schedule. But I know people who have gotten none, who have gotten into some daycares. So you just kind of have to manage that a little differently. Usually it's just a note. And then I also get like lots of mail that's like, hey, your child doesn't have this. If you need some financial assistance to getting them or like medical assistance to getting them, we can offer that to you. And like I constantly get all these letters or whatever. So you are not gonna just choose this and not have any backlash, I guess. If you're in Minnesota, New Kingdom is a great spot that is very supportive of any of the options. We don't go there, but I found a pediatrician that I really like that's close to us. There's also another person that I have not personally read. It's Dr. Sears. They also have a book, and I compared the two schedules between the one that we follow, Dr. Paul's and Dr. Sears. They're different. They're both delayed, but they're different in what they recommend. I would just like maybe look up the doctors and choose which one you most align with. If you want to read both books, just pick one that you most align with and just go with it. Like with any of this, there's no knowing, and everyone's just trying to do what they believe is best. I just have had a lot of people messaging me asking me about this specifically, and I have intentionally not made any content about it because it's so controversial, but I just keep getting questions about it. So if you are looking for some resources, I'd recommend the vaccine friendly plan, and then you can just do Dr. Paul schedule PDF and it'll give you the actual schedule. But I would highly recommend reading it so that you kind of like know what's best and believe what's best, because you might read this and think, this doesn't feel right, then don't do it. Oh, I also want to say that there is an alternative. I just interviewed a homeopathic doctor. She's a naturopathic doctor who practices homeopathy. If you Google homeopathic vaccine, they have created a way to get an immune response from your body without using the ingredients that are in like the traditional ones. So if that's something that you're like, even more interesting. So yeah, I hope this is helpful if you are like kind of lost and confused and nervous and you're just looking for like an alternative resource. The doctors will try to scare you, not scare you, but they'll try to be like, well, if you're gonna delay it, then you're gonna have more appointments that have shots, and that's gonna have the kid not wanting to come back. That has not been our experience at all. They're fine going to the doctor. Granted, they're young, so maybe they're just like forgetting their experiences, but like I think it costs more because you are going to more visits. My doctor just ordered labs, so I can just go in, get a shot, and leave. I don't have to do a whole appointment. I think those are a little less expensive. But I would love to hear your experience with this. If you are glad you chose what you did, how other people have responded to what you did, just kind of give a resource for people who are trying to decide. I just want this to be a place where you, like a jumping off, where you can be like, oh, okay, here's a book I can go check out. Oh, here's a different book I can go check about with different information around the same topic. Or here's a homeopathic remedy that I can try, and like, just kind of opening up that realm of learning. That's what I always try to do, is just kind of like say, hey, did you know that this existed? If that resonates with you, go check it out. I hope that this video was helpful for you, and I would love to hear about your experience in the comments. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.